Okay, so since I mentioned the Spectrotone chart in the other videos, I'm actually just going to do, similar to the live composing, just a few little excerpts to show how I use the Spectrotone chart um, as a loose guide. And obviously, you know, these ranges change depending on the instruments and everything like that, but more importantly, when I'm going for a particular tone, it changes other things that I might do. For instance, it changes how I play, the dynamics I use, and everything like that to basically maximize. So once I pick one of these timbres, like let's say it's, the golden one, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it sound more golden when I'm using it in that register. I'm not going to try to make it sound like something it's not. Sometimes I might do the opposite if I really need an instrument there and I don't want to mess up a line that I had. I might decide to sculpt the phrase around trying to produce a different timbre. But for the most part, it's easiest to just focus on these timbres and then maximizing the timbres when you're writing. Okay, so just use this as a starting place, and then try to use that as like as a goal as you're writing. So if you've got a color here that you're trying to bring out, perform the part like you're trying to bring that out. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to my DAW real quick. Okay, so let's start with something easy. Okay, so if I go back to this chart, the color green is pleasant. Okay, you can see it in here in quite a few places. And I'm thinking about something pleasant. I think I'm just going to do a quick little melody. I'm going to start in a flute. So it's basically their second octave here. That initial part of their second octave is going to be that pleasant register. But I'm going to just play in this general area. And wherever it takes me, it takes me. But I'm going to try to play pleasant, which means I'm going to watch what I'm doing with the mod wheel, for instance. Right? And ease into transitions and notes. Just subtle things to think pleasant, like I'm trying to make something pleasant. I think I'm chord-wise, I think I'm going to do, probably just do violins. I think violins sound like a good idea. So, alright, so we've got our little metaphor. Should be a nice little easy one, right? So I'm going to load up the flute. Bottom octave. I think I used that little melody in another little diddly on my tablet when I was testing something, so I'll just do that again. Alright, again, my goal here is to stay pleasant, right? Now this is a melody, so obviously it's, in this case, it's, I'm keeping it at the pleasant is towards the bottom end of this melody, so it's kind of going from the melody to the bright, but even though it's going between those two colors, because if I pull that chart back up, you'll see, because I go up to, so I'm actually hovering around this C right here, kind of a little bit below it. So I'm kind of hovering at that break point where it becomes this yellow color over the green. But I'm just going to focus on keeping my dynamics low and then keeping the metaphor of this pleasant part. Okay, I'm just going to track that in. Okay, sounds nice and pleasant. Now I'm going to go over to the violins. Now their pleasant register is going to be their third string. So starting on the G, you can see what I'm doing here. This one A, so it's going to be between this A and this E is generally where I want to hide. And again, I'm going to go for the metaphor, so if I go above or below that range, it's quite alright. In fact, I might even end on a slightly richer chord on purpose. Copy this MIDI over here. Only because I'm, obviously I'm trying to do this quickly, so I'm not worried quite as much about. Did I really not line that up? I'm not worried about programming here, just the concept. So as far as the actual chords, I think I'm going to play. Let's see here. What chord do I want here? Matter of fact, normally I think I'd actually probably have this chord happen here. Let's see how that goes. Do I want that there? Yeah, I'll move it back. There we go. And then I'm just going to delete this. And I'm just going to redo the CC again, focusing on pleasant. Just to see if I want that chord there. Okay, so that's pleasant. Of course, it's bordering on brightness, but that's true for both instruments there. So it's okay. Again, that was like a more homogeneous texture, so you know, not the end of the world. Let's do another one. Okay, let's just do some. How about some warm trumpets and trombones? I think I mentioned those. I think I just got some makeshift stuff thrown in this template. It's not the actual ones I'd be using, but so since we're doing this warm thing, the trumpets warm register. If you look on here, so it's gonna be it's gonna be kind of below with the basically just between like the upper chunk of, or kind of around middle C, I guess. It's a good way to think about it. Just around middle C-ish. A little higher, but between the C's. So probably E to A is a good range to kind of stay in here. So since we're going to be picking, actually no, that's right. We're doing this warm one, the brown one. So we're actually just going to hover around middle C here. So we're going to hover, you know, up and down a little bit, but that's where we're going to stay. So in order to maximize the warmness, it's going to be soft sustains, and we're going to watch the dynamics, right? This looks good to me. Now let's look for trombones. All right, so tenor bones, their warm register is going to be basically the bottom half of the C below it. So it's going to be the same thing, essentially. While this is at and below C, we're going to focus on just going to even these out first. Pull the whole thing down. This might work. I could probably bring this down lower on the trombones, but I don't want to get too low on the trombones. So I'm trying to keep it more on this register. So this one again, it's going to be you're going to want to redo the CCs, but okay. Again, we want to focus on keeping that warmth, so lower dynamics. And if you wanted this melody to stick out more with the trumpets, I mean, you could just put it up an octave. Because you notice it's in that golden range. Now, if you were going to try to make it golden, I'd probably ride the CC a little bit more. There's that point in mezzo forte when, you know, just when you're on that cusp, that you kind of bring out that golden quality, stateliness to it. Now, if you were going to try to keep this down here, if you felt like it was too dull, if you felt like that was too dull and you wanted to double this, this would be a good time to just, you know, maybe you looked at the orchestration thing and it's not lining up the way you thought it did with your trumpet samples. That's when you look at this. So where are we at? We're like here-ish is where our melody is. What's orange? Well, we got a saxophone, but I don't have a saxophone on my template. What do we got here? So it looks like the bass trombone is orange here. Okay, we need brown. That's right. So French horn, probably a better choice down there. Alto flute is another possible choice. You could double it on bassoon, an octave below. French horn kind of makes sense though. So maybe even just a solo French horn. No, it's got the extra bite from the trumpets here, so this works, you know? Maybe even trumpets, we can bring these down a little bit since we added the French horn for the warmth. In fact, I think I want to take this trumpet and put it on the third. Yeah. We don't need fifths. And then the trombones and trumpet and this are doing the same thing in octave. What's this melody here? Let's do this again in strings. Now, with this, I want to work the same melody into a register that is... I can do octaves here, one second. Alright, so right now I've got Violins 2 are going to be tracking an octave below. Now, the thing is with this is what I want something rich again. So what I'm going to do is focus on the bottom violin being in the rich territory and then trying to get the top violin to be in the, the bright territory. So that said, if we look at the strings, the bright string starts this E. So if that's the case, our melody really only goes, I think it was like, so as long as that G is above the E, right? So this would be, would A be a good, I guess it's immediate, so that's not too bad. So we could go to B flat as well, but it ends on a C major, so I think that's a little bit more uplifting. Though I could just do the whole thing in G. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. I think that makes sense. Because we're in a D major, so guess you could do. Yeah, maybe doing the B flat there makes more sense. Let's just. No, I like the G, so let's do that. Now I want these to be richer, so I'm just gonna start here. I'm making the chord track, so all right. So again, we want to be in the rich territory for viola and down. So we're going to voice these chords downwards. Thinking big open voicing is probably good for this, but let's see here. So let me get the viola tracking again. Okay. So this is going to start on their G chord, or their G string, no pun intended. So trying to think of a juicy chord there for this. And then, well, this one's easy. It's got to contain an E and a D though. E or a D. It could be a D. If I can come up with a juicy chord on that. Maybe like B flat. Yeah, let's do B flat. Okay, so if we're doing this B flat, and the violas, I'm going to do the G and the B. Again, you can see here, viola's rich quality is going to be here in this area. So I'm just going to stick to the G and then the B, and then the D is going to be in the cello. If I want another voice, it's also going to be in the cello, but I'm going to put the D in the cello. I want this chord to sound brighter, so should I put the second in here? Maybe I'll put the second in the cello. Okay, and now I just got to redo the CCs for both the viola and the cello. So I think this makes sense. Though I wonder if I can get away with if we can fit that in the chord. Hold on a second. Let me just try to... Yeah, that's alright. Just trying to create some stepwise motion here to kind of spread this out. This is where voice leading took over. I think this interlocked bass would probably be okay, because I don't want it to go too low. And this, with the bass having this G right here, it's gonna have a lot more punch cutting through. So, in fact, I might actually interlock all three of these voices since I'm already halfway there. Move this up to here, and then give the viola the bottom voice. So actually, yeah, this is a better voicing because now the ninth chord, that dissonance is not going to be as strong because it's going to be on the viola, and the cello is going to cut above it. So I think this is going to be good. All right, let me just go ahead and record all three of these. Let me delete the mod wheel data and stuff. Now, let's say we want our melody to have a little bit more weight here. We can beef this up. So if we want to pick two notes to, like two instruments to support the melody here. Back to our chart. So blue is the rich tone. So if we want blue, maybe blue or make it either blue, golden, or bright to add to this. I don't really want to add any like of the pleasant tones. But if I'm just focusing on blue, our melody's generally going to be around here-ish, right? Because the violin, we got one here, one here-ish. So as far as things that would actually accentuate that, looks like we got glockenspiel here. So we could do flute to add some brightness to it down here, and then maybe the clarinet to add some richness to it. So I actually almost want to do the oboe right here to add this, to get the golden and the yellow rather than the green and yellow, because I really don't want any of this pleasantness in the middle of that melody. So maybe I think I'll do oboe and clarinet in octaves. I'm going to kind of focus on that richer timbre. So, I just want to check those mix-wise. Sounds pretty good to me. You know, I might have the clarinet a little coming in a little hot, but yeah. There we go. Okay, hopefully the second little over the shoulder helps as far as how you'd actually use the Spectrotone to kind of shape decisions. Anyways, late.